This is the new 2024 Audi S3. It's had a facelift, it steals parts from the RS3, and it genuinely makes me wonder what is the point in upgrading to an RS3 when the performance in this is so good. But first, here's something that really annoys me about the new design. Someone at Audi has decided to remove the S3 and RS3 badges from the front grille. They used to be right here. That person needs fired. This just looks like a normal A3 now, and that's something you don't want when you've just spent a fortune buying a performance car. Regardless of the badge, it still looks pretty menacing with the all black everything. The four rings have been moved higher up, and they now remind me of a Mark 1 Audi TT air vents, and you get these cool LED lights that actually do a little dance when you first start it up. You also get 19-inch alloy wheels, which are bigger than before as standard, black gloss side skirts and matching wing mirrors. Round the back, we still keep that S3 badge, thankfully. We've got a new lip spoiler in the boot here, these lovely LED lights, and a more aggressive diffuser down the bottom here, still proudly displaying those big quad exhausts, just to remind people it is a performance car. The interior in the new S3 is nice, but I feel like it's starting to look a bit cheap in some places. You've got the customisable virtual cockpit behind the steering wheel here, which is great for being able to see your navigation when you're driving and flick through different menus very quickly. You've also got a 10.1 inch touchscreen display here. Again, it's very responsive and you can get your navigation up there, as well as Apple CarPlay and Android Auto wirelessly. And it's a nice glass screen on there, so it does look very sleek, even if it's covered in grubby fingerprints like mine. But everything else round about, like the dashboard here at the bottom has Alcantara, but then the top is just left to a kind of leather feel material. And I don't know why they wouldn't just do the full thing in Alcantara, because it would be much nicer. You've got these air vents up here which stick out a little bit and actually feel a bit more like Lamborghini than Audi, so I enjoy that. But again, the Napa leather seats here, they look great because they're quilted, but it actually feels a bit thin. They've also changed the gear selector again. So it used to be the stick, then it went to the little toggle switch, and now it's even smaller again, and I don't even know what I would call that. But you just put your fingers on it and either push it or pull it back and forward to select your gears. There is a new touch dial for your audio controls, which is quite good, and I love the red border around the start-stop button. It just feels very sporty. However, one thing I'm starting to appreciate so much more now is physical buttons for important controls that you use all the time, such as your climate control, start, stop and drive select. So much easier than fidgeting about on the screen, so thank you for that one, Audi. One thing's for certain, Audi know how to make a cracking engine. This keeps the same 2 litre 4-cylinder as the previous model, but it's given even more power. It's now 333 PS with 420 Nm of torque, which have both increased. But that means nothing just saying it out loud until you feel it and experience it for yourself. So let's go for a drive. I can't wait to show you this. This is the new S3 Saloon, which can reach 60 mph from a standstill in just 4.7 seconds. Now interestingly, Matt Watson compared this to the S3 hatchback and found that this was actually faster. Even more surprising, the S3 is only 1 second slower than the RS3, which is unbelievable to me. I mean, 1 second is nothing unless you're an F1 driver or you're on a drag strip, but for the most part, for everyday use, you're not going to notice that difference. The S3 has borrowed some technology from the RS3, most importantly a rear torque splitter. Now what that will do is it'll actually send more torque and power to the outer wheel, so it makes for better cornering, like you can do it faster and it's more stable. And again, that helps with not just straight line speed, but if you were on a track, for example. So having some of the technology brought in here from the RS3 and only being a second slower, I'm still struggling to justify why you would upgrade. Speed aside, this performance car is actually a brilliant daily driver. It's nice and spacious, it's very comfortable, and if you put it in comfort mode, it actually tones down the exhaust notes to make it a lot quieter in the cabin here as well. Of course, being the saloon, there's plenty of space in the back there for passengers, which might even make it a practical family car. And of course, it has Audi's famous Quattro all-wheel drive system. Now, we've been having storms constantly here, and it's been like apocalyptic rain, to be honest with you. The roads have been like rivers. But The Audi S3 isn't even phased by that. I was on the motorway just the other night there, and I hit a pool of water and aquaplaned, and before I could even react, the car had already caught traction again and was putting me back on solid ground, so to speak. And I was just amazed at like how quickly the traction control actually kicked in and how much grip was provided even when the surface was still wet. So on less wet days like today where the road surface is a bit dry, it just gives you all the confidence you need to just really punch it through a corner at speed. And I know for a fact this car is capable of way more than my brain will allow me to do. This machine was built for a racetrack, even though the top speed is limited to 155 miles per hour. This will just bomb it round any track you take it on. Now, Audi say that this will return up to 34.4 miles per gallon. I've been driving it in dynamic mode with the sports gear selected as well, and it's given me back around 17 miles per gallon, which isn't terrible to be honest, but it probably could be better. That said, if I was driving it in comfort mode, which you most likely would if you actually owned this car for a time, I'd imagine you would get pretty high figures for it. Not to state the obvious, but the new S3 is obviously a proper performance car now. Since it stole that torque splitter from the RS3, this is now closer than ever to its big brother in terms of performance. The only thing setting them apart is a few £1,000s. The new RS3 saloon, which will be available from September, is going to start for a base model at £60,500. This S3 Black Edition, which is available now, is only £51,000. Which brings me back to my earlier point of why would you bother to upgrade to the RS3 anymore? This has most of the same technology, it looks just as good, it's 10 grand cheaper for 1 second of a difference. Let me know in the comments what you think of that. Am I just being unrealistic? Is there a point of the RS3? Who knows? But for now, I think this would be my choice if I was going between the two and was on the fence. Anyway, I hope you've enjoyed this video. Thank you so much for watching, and if you have liked it, please make sure to subscribe to my channel for more car reviews like this. And I'll see you soon in my next video.